Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, my name is Isis if this is your first time visiting, and I'm a psych nurse, and I have my friend with me today.
Hi, I'm Shavana, and I'm an addictions counselor.
So, we're going to talk to you today about reasons why people do not go to therapy and why they really should.
We think this is an important topic because we take a lot of pride in mental health. And there's also a lot of misconceptions about therapy, what it does, what it can provide, and we just wanted to clear the air on a lot of this.
Yeah. So, the first thing that a lot of people say is that I don't believe in therapy. I don't believe in psychotherapy. I don't believe I need to go to a therapist because they're frauds. They just want your money and they don't actually do anything to help you. A lot of people feel like they can just talk to their friends and family about their issues instead of going to see a therapist.
But, when you go and see a therapist, there's someone who has spent so many years in school. This is their profession, this is something they're passionate about. And it's also someone who is completely objective to the situation. They don't hold any biases and they're not really going to pick a side. And you have someone who is completely listening to what you have to say. So it's a really good perspective to have.
So, some things people say is that they'd rather talk to their friends about their issues. And even whenever you're talking to your friends and you say, I'm going to go see a therapist, sometimes they don't understand and they're like, well, why can't you just talk to me about your issues? That's what I'm here for. But there's a big difference between a friendship and a therapist relationship.
Although talking to your best friend is really nice because you feel like they're the person that knows you, or any friend at that, a therapist, in comparison to your best friend, you don't always know if your best friend will tell someone what you tell them. But a counselor or a therapist is legally binded to keep whatever you say confidential, so you can trust and rest in that.
Yes. And they're very objective. So, like with your friends, they have a lot of biases and they want you to do things certain ways. But when you're talking to a therapist, your best interest is all that they are concerned about. So, therapists are trained listeners. And whenever you're talking to your friends, I think we can all say that they are not trained listeners. And when you're talking to your friends about your problems, it doesn't take very long for them to butt in and start talking about their own problems.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how friendship works, but that is why therapists are so beneficial because you can just talk about what's going on with you and they are there for you and just you.
Another myth about counseling is that it costs way too much money. Just like if you go into your doctor's office and you use your insurance, you can use your insurance with seeing a therapist. If you do not have insurance, you can obviously get on Medicaid and you will get insurance at low cost or none. You can also find counselors who do sliding scale fees. So they'll go based off your income and kind of adjust on what they think would be a good place or how much to charge you for a counseling session, which makes it really affordable and realistic for a lot of people. And also, if you think about it from a financial aspect, therapy is probably one of the biggest investments you can make in yourself. It will cultivate a better you, which would help you have better relationships, a healthier state of mind, and help you develop in many different areas, professionally, academically, like I said before, relationship wise. So it's a huge investment, and thinking about it that way can kind of help you put the cost factor aside.
So, another common thing people will say about why they can't go to therapy is, I don't got time for that. and I mean, we're all busy.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's true, but you can find time and it's worth it to find that time. Going to therapy for like an hour every week, every 2 weeks, every month, that's not a big obligation. Also, some therapists have weekend hours and they have evening hours. So if your work schedule is a problem, you can always find a therapist that can work around that.
And if time is a factor and also you don't think you're able to make it, like transportation is an issue, there are also therapists who will do at-home visits and in-home counseling. So that's also another option for you. And it also helps if you even have like social anxiety and it's hard for you to get out. That can be a stepping stone for you to also see a therapist. Another myth that people have or something that holds them back is they say, I saw a therapist before and it didn't help. Well, sometimes you have to take in consideration that counselors and psychologists are human beings, and just like you don't vibe or you don't connect with some other people outside, that can also happen professionally. So it really becomes important just to search around and find a therapist that you can connect with. It does take more than one try sometimes, or you may click the first time. It's all trial and error, and if it's important to you and what your mental health is, you'll keep pushing through.
So, along with that, I personally have seen 4 different therapists in my life. That's not including psychiatrists. So, 4 different therapists. And the fourth one was the one that really stuck with me, and I saw her for about 4 years. So, it is possible to find the right therapist for you. Everybody is different, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of work to find the right person.
Another concern people have is they say that therapists don't do anything. They just sit there, say, and just listen to them. And there are some therapists that do that, but it's all intentional. It's based on whatever theory they orient from. So, for example, someone who does person-centered care or even Rogerian therapy will really let the client lead the way and lead sessions. For a lot of people, that can be anxiety-ridden. So they may prefer someone who is a cognitive behavioral therapist, who is a real coach, and they give you worksheets and you do things step by step. A lot of people may think that's too overwhelming. So it really takes some time in researching who your therapist is before. And a lot of therapists will have what type of therapy they do, what that looks like on their website. So do some researching in comparison, and you can even consult them through email. Ask them what their sessions look like if you don't get enough information online.
Another reason why some people don't want to go to therapy is because they believe that therapists don't care about them. They don't want to just talk to some stranger who's just there to make a paycheck. And I'm here to tell you that is not true at all.
Nope.
And therapists aren't rich. So some people like to say, I don't need therapy because I could just go to my doctor and get medication for whatever my problem is. So studies have shown that medication alone is not as effective as therapy and medication.
Yeah.
And really, therapy itself is very effective without medication. And when it comes to medication, psych meds specifically, it takes a long time before you find the medication for you because each psych med works differently on the next person. So it's a long process, and you should be in therapy while you're in that process because you're not going to be getting the help you need from those medications until you're on the right regimen.
Another thing that holds people back, specifically African Americans, Black people, is that there is just a huge stigma behind counseling. For one reason is there are not a lot of Black therapists. So there's a huge likelihood that if you are Black, you will have, at least once if you're trying around, a white therapist. And for a lot of Black people, that can be uncomfortable because a lot of our issues could be racially based, and they feel like, what does this white person know about what I'm going through in my life? But there is a certain degree about that. No one, even someone of the same color of your skin, knows exactly what you go through. But a therapist, regardless of their color, we learn about what each race goes through. And at the end of the day, we just specifically and always care about you and your well-being. So we may not completely get you, even if we do look the same, but we'll try our best and we'll work together because that's what the therapeutic counseling relationship is. Another thing in regards to stigma is no one wants a label. They don't want to be seen crazy, the one friend that has to go and see someone for their problems. But you have to look past that, unfortunately. If you need help, you need help. You're not going to get better by just avoiding it or pretending it doesn't exist. And a label is just that. It's just something we use to help diagnose. Insurance is needed for billing. So it's not who you are. It's just how we can help you get better. You're not your illness. You always have to remember that.
So in regards to stigma, so a lot of people, not just Black Americans or Black people in general, feel stigmatized whenever they have mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that really stems from the fact that society likes to keep these things under wraps. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to talk about suicide. We don't like to talk about depression. We make jokes about it.
Yeah.
There's memes about it.
Yeah.
And that really just adds to why people don't want to seek help. And the thing is that mental health problems are so common. Like, maybe like 1 in 3 people have mental health issues. So not seeking help because of the stigma is not really a good reason, because really that's just being smart. Because anyone that's dealing with mental health issues should seek help, period. Regardless of stigma, you need help. So that was a wrap up of why people decide not to see therapists. And stay tuned. This is going to be a video about why you should see a therapist. If you're having questions about whether you should see one or not, then watch part 2 of this video and it will definitely help you. Okay. Oh, subscribe to my channel.
Yeah. Subscribe, favorite.
There is no favorites.
No favorites anymore.
Subscribe, like.
Oh yeah.
And turn on your notifications for more videos. Do that. Yes, right now. It's down there.
Down there.
Okay, bye.